Hello and welcome to The Hero Spouse. I'm Kenda Ruth, here to answer one of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Today we have Dave. Dave has a bomb drop of April 15th, 2023, a date of marriage of 1994, and he's not familiar with either contact type or energy level. He says she moved out 3 months ago. I get mixed signals from her. How do I know when to let go, or should I keep trying to get her back? I feel like I'm being strung out. So bomb drop was 4/15. We're now in November, and so she waited about 4 months before she moved out. That's 3 months ago. She moved out around August, just to set some dates around. How do I know when to let go, or should I keep trying to get her back? Those are not two separate things, letting go and trying to get her back. But here's what it is. If you're a stander, standers are people who want them back, or I like forward better. We don't want them regressed, but that's how our language works. Standers are somebody who wants their spouse, who wants to reconcile it. So already we have that established that you sounds like you want that. To let go, now let her go, or then that brings up that thing, if you love something, let it go. But to let go, that's detachment. Or it's even a higher state of detachment. You have detach, where you were attached, detached. Think of the fetus. Now it's detached in literal type of analogies. Then think of the rodeo cowboy. They let go. So when we talk about that, we do both. But you don't try to get them back by trying to get them back. In other words, by telling them about it, by focusing on them, by thinking about this situation. It's going to be in your head anyway, this situation. You don't get her back by going at her and trying to change her mind, show her the error of her ways, convince her. None of that. That is going to convince her that he's just not listening. He doesn't get it. I don't want him. Why doesn't he stop bothering me? It's going to create more resistance. It'll do the exact opposite often. How you get them forward is you work on you. How you get them forward is you accept the situation. You accept the process of a midlife crisis, and this is what happens in it, in other words. You get them forward by you working on you and you becoming absolute grace toward them, toward the world, but toward them. In other words, you're not going to start screaming at them and start reminding them of all of the destruction they've caused, or how I can't be without you, or how you're the victim in this and it's just breaking my heart. We get them forward instead of back forward by working on us and becoming the most attractive force we can. Our charisma is out there. And they see that. They see that and say, my life is falling apart. I don't know who I am. I've done all of this damage, and yet look at him. He's smiling. And some of the things they will say are, look at him, he's smiling. He doesn't care. Yeah, they'll go through there. And if you hear them say it, or they say it to you, you can say, I'm smiling because I have to keep going. I'm smiling because I want to enjoy my life, and I'm going to choose joy in my life. I'd rather have you in it while I'm doing that. My smiling, my being happy, would you rather me be miserable? Because they are then equating the value that you put on the relationship with their misery, with the misery that you must be in. And we have to go on. We have to learn to live our life. So that is one of the ways that you combat that piece of an argument. You are going to be such an amazing person that they're like, I want that. That is the example. They are teaching me to recover. They might not say it in those words, but they're going to see you and go, wow. It is an attractive force. And by attractive force, that means they might not be able to speak what it is. There's this charisma that person has. And it's because you're healthy. It's because you're happy. It's because you're choosing joy. And when you look at your spouse or your former spouse, wherever that is in the journey, you still smile. You still show that you care. You show everything rooted in empathy. And the challenge for you is it doesn't feel like you're doing anything toward trying to get her back. That's the phrase you use, trying to get her back, trying to save my marriage. But see, you have to heal, because two broken people don't make a healthy, stable relationship. So if she comes home prematurely, or even not prematurely in the sense of time, but neither of you are healed, then you're two broken people. You're going to stumble along, and it's going to happen over and over again, these betrayals. And then you'll resent each other more and more and more. And it's just increase. It'll be like evidence of, I guess I see why I left the first time. I really was right then. And you'll just have these self-fulfilling prophecies. You work on yourself. You get yourself healed and whole. Because two whole people make a stable relationship. We don't complete each other. We complement each other. And that's what I want you to have as your goal. Work on being your best self so that you are an attractive force for her. That's going to come with all sorts of other questions, like what about communication and that sort of thing. So go in and read the articles that are on my website and on other websites. Go in and take Understanding Midlife Crisis if you haven't already, so you can know what it is. And join the groups. That's where you're going to get some of the advice for what you need to do, how you need to handle interactions with her. Because there should be, or maybe, interactions with her even while you're working on yourself. And how do you show that grace? How do you set a boundary of, but wait a second, she's walking all over me and I'm a doormat. And there's a boundary there. And this being grace and not judging is a tightrope, because you may fall off onto the doormat sometimes. And then you get back up. You have to set a boundary. Was it too strong? Was it not strong enough? And it's a learning. And it's also changing. As she grows and changes, that boundary will change. Okay? So my advice is really work on yourself and involve yourself in the communities, so that can help you with your standing. I hope this is helpful. And I will see everybody in the next question.